It was a quiet day on the rift. Top lane Teemo was getting wrecked harder than a furry walnut crushed between the rock-hard cheeks of a high-end stripper's ass. Bot lane set up a tent in the bush and proceeded to whack off at the thought of pulling their enemies in for an early kill, leaving Kayn to sit alone in the jungle with his blue balls. Mid lane was where all the action was. Thresh against Rakan. Rakan against Thresh. Locked in the kind of tense, testosterone-laced battle that make the men flex sympathetically and the women swoon with unbridled emotion. Rakan had just been buffed and he looked sexier than ever. His AP scaling was through the roof and he was popping his opponents higher than a hash brownie chased with a THC chocolate tinny. Finally the battle came to a head and Thresh flashed his floozy badge and bent Rakan over his knee. Rakan came back with a chip on his shoulder and a furtive need to prove his manhood, picking at his brains and trousers. He went for Thresh hard, but ever the consummate man of the night, Thresh dragged Rakan to his corner and reminded him why Xayah never said yes to his proposals. Rakan returned to his lane to find it blissfully empty. He tried to catch up on some farm before he realized that his bot lane was being violently molested by a woman that was nearly 40% boob and her sidekick Our Lady of Zeke's procs. He headed towards them and then quickly changed his mind. He returned to base before finding himself hurtling to bottom lane to defend his dear friend, Mr. Fluffy Bottom. Rakan may have died in this endeavor, but at least the ADC made it out. At least their jungler made it out. At least Mr. Fluffy Bottom made it out. The support made it out. Rakan finally made it back to lane and slammed Thresh's wang in his lantern door. Mr. Fluffy Bottom helped to push the tower down and Rakan took a moment to remind himself how sexy he was. He headed bot. His team was there other than Mr. Fluffy Bottom, who said he needed to work through some personal issues up top. Together they pushed that tower down as well as murdering their ADC while Thresh mercilessly shanked a minion before being mowed down by the blue-haired woman with a white powder mustache. Confident that she would be able to handle herself, Rakan left. He was wrong. He headed down mid lane where Thresh was waiting for him with his pimp. The pimp slapped both Rakan and Mr. Fluffy Bottom so hard that they were hurtled back to puberty. He returned and promptly had his head shoved up his own ass. The rest of his team also got to share the view from inside their rectal cavities other than the support who could no longer function as the team was dead. They promptly exited the rift to seek medical attention.